The family of the man who was beheaded by convicted killer Jamie Osuna is now suing the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. The victim's sister claims the prison failed to protect her brother and should have known that his life would be in mortal danger. 17's Amber Frias spoke with the family and their attorney and joins us in studio with more on this story. Amber?
Luis Romero was beheaded by Jamie Osuna at Corcoran State Prison last March. The lawsuit argues despite being put on notice of Osuna's insatiable desire to kill, prison officials gave him a cellmate. Almost 1 year to the date, and the Romero family is still waiting for answers from the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation.
At the end of the day, we do realize that we won't be getting Luis back, but we have a lot of questions that need to be answered, and in order for us to be able to move forward and grieve properly, we need those questions answered.
44-year-old Luis Romero was gruesomely killed in his cell at Corcoran State Prison on March 9th.
In this case, one of the victim's fingers was severed, part of a body part was cut out, his an eye was removed, and his head was decapitated.
The main suspect, the only person in the cell with him, his cellmate, convicted killer Jamie Osuna.
They called my sister, my oldest sister, and they told her that Luis had passed. And basically that was it. That he had passed and that it was possibly a homicide, but there was an investigation being made and they couldn't tell us any more information regarding his death. We actually buried Luis and we didn't know that this had happened to him. You know, my mom just happened to want a closed casket.
The family says they learned the grisly details through KGET news reports. They say CDCR has not answered any of their calls.
Maybe this is the only way that they will answer us.
After months of consideration, the family filed a lawsuit against the institution. The suit, which seeks damages, lists the secretary of CDCR, the warden of California State Prison Corcoran, and a sergeant working at the prison at the time.
The lawsuit really focuses on CDCR being on notice with respect to this particular inmate, Mr. Osuna's propensity for extreme violence. And so what we have learned is that there were prior instances where basically CDCR was put on notice that Mr. Osuna had this insatiable desire to kill and that he would continue doing it by his own admissions.
I don't have no sympathy. I'm sadistic. I really don't care. I'll do it and I'll do it again over and over and over.
KGET spoke with Osuna in 2017 after he was sentenced for killing and torturing a Bakersfield woman at El Morocco Hotel.
It goes to that knowledge requirement. It goes to that requirement that CDCR either knew or should have known that this type of conduct could and would continue if it wasn't ultimately remedied. But kind of more importantly than that is the overriding question of how Mr. Romero and Mr. Osuna came to be in the same cell.
The lawsuit argues the prison ignored a protocol that requires a committee to evaluate two inmates being celled together. It also lists the facility's failure to conduct safety checks.
How did they allow this to happen? Like how? Who was supposed to be watching? You know, everything that Jamie did to my brother, he needed time to do this, and there was still somebody that needed to be watching them, and we just don't know how to feel.
The family says they hope to not only get the answers they're looking for through the suit, but also have CDCR acknowledge they messed up.
I don't want to wake up a few years from now knowing that, you know, I didn't do anything to stand up to CDCR and get answers to these questions, and maybe this can help somebody else, another family that is going through the same situation or will be going through the same situation.
Luis Romero was serving a life with parole sentence after being convicted in Los Angeles County for a second-degree murder in 1992. We reached out to CDCR for comment but have not heard back as of news time. Amber Frias, 17 News.